Hello traders, Sid here. It's new week and new watch list. So before jumping into this week's watch list, let's take a look at overall market, like what happened over there and where we are heading. So last week we continued our bull rally, except one red day, which was quite insignificant considering the strength that we had in overall market. Okay, this is a sector summary that I got from the stockcharts.com. They summarized everything pretty nicely, and as you guys can see here, this is a summary of all the sector over the 1 week, and overall we had bullish strength in all the sectors except healthcare sector. When it comes to the overall strength in the market, there are certain sector which plays a big role, such as energy, utility, technology, finance sector. So we need to keep an eye on this sector, how these sectors are performing. Energy sector up by 7.61%, material sector up by 4.09%, utility sector up by 3.47%, technology sector 2.22% up. So that's quite a strength in overall market, but that strength is quite surprising considering the overall global situation. Going into the next week, we need to see if we get the continuation or some kind of choppy sideways action, then market can pick up the direction. We just have to keep an eye on these things. You cannot predict these things because market is uncertain and irrational. That's for the sector summary. Before jumping into the stocks, let's take a look at NASDAQ and S&P 500 E-mini futures. So this is a NASDAQ, and on NASDAQ you can clearly see that we bounce from that 12,980 level where we bounced previously, like 1 2 3 4 times, and on the fifth time when we bounced back from that level, we had a huge bull rally. And if you can see very closely, this bull run is moving into a curvature, like not a straight line, but it's kind of like making that curve or the saturation, or it feels like the bulls are getting exhausted over here. And at this point, what might happen is like either we can get a strong pullback back towards 13,500 level, or retest this trend line, or we can see some kind of like consolidation and either move up or move down. So at this point, this is quite uncertain period. Like we need to watch upcoming 3 or 4 days to get more data to see where exactly we are heading. Now S&P 500, it's a similar situation. It's not that different from NASDAQ, but in case of S&P 500, we are reaching to this resistance zone, and I draw this circle around it because it has multiple points and you cannot fit all of them in one line. So we had rejection from here, that rejection turns into support here, that level turns into resistance again, and we rejected from that level once again here, and now we are heading into that zone again. And similar to NASDAQ, we are having that curvature formation. So whatever I said to NASDAQ, like it might get some kind of like a consolidation over here, then shooting up higher or lower. We need to get that data from upcoming days to project where we are going. Also, the one thing that I want to mention over here is VIX. If you can see here, it was kind of like forming this rising wedge from February to its peak till 8th March, and from that point it just shooting straight down. We saw a major pullback in VIX, and it might bounce back from this level from here, or if it fell below that, then we can have retest of this level. Probably we will bounce back from this level, from the 20th level, where yeah, it's one of the indexes or the one more thing that you need to pay attention before jumping into the market. If you see that VIX is going down again, you can see some kind of like a bull rally continuation in S&P 500 and NASDAQ. But if not, if it's moving up, then probably we will see red day going into this week. Okay, so that's it for the overall market update, and I covered NASDAQ, S&P 500 mini future, and VIX. These are the three major indices that you need to look for. So in this watch list, I tried something different. So what I did is like I prepared a PDF sheet with all the stocks or indices that I found has interesting setup of to take a trade on. Now I put all of that information in a PDF format so that it will be easy for me to talk about, while you guys can see everything in details in just one screen without focusing on any other things. So the first one is SPY. Now the SPY has overall bearish trend. Now this bearish trend I got from the quantdata.com. Now that quantdata.com is a site which provides you insight about all the options activity happening related to the market as well as a particular ticker. So I get that information from there, and overall SPY is still bearish. There are a lot of put volume as compared to the call volume, so we just have to take that information to create a mental picture of what might happen, because that will prevent us from going into or opening a wrong trade and then losing a lot of money. So similar to S&P 500 E-mini future, SPY is also heading into this resistance zone, or this zone of distribution, or kind of like a, let's call it as a resistance zone, because there are multiple terms. Many traders use different terms. I just want to stick with resistance, because either we get rejection from this level or we broke through that resistance and move up higher. I draw this fib extension, and considering the current extension, if we get a pullback, we might retest this 438 level if we get a pullback, and if we continue our rally up higher, then 460 will be our next zone to watch for, because we had multiple rejections from that point. Moving on to QQQ or tracks NASDAQ. We have similar setup over here. Also I drew a fib extension. If we get a pullback, 382 or 343 level will be the bounce zone. We have support at 347, 340, and resistance towards 359 and 366 if we break through 360 level. Option activity is heading towards 360 strike for this March 28th, that means tomorrow, which has high volume. And on the put side, strike 325, which is quite a low target, almost hitting this fib level 0.786, but expiration date is June 17th, so it has quite a lot of time, but it has huge open interest, almost like 293,000. Moving on to Apple has very interesting formation. As you guys can see, we shot up straight up. I mean, that's almost like a 90-degree vertical move, and that's a little bit concerning, because if you are getting this strong of a move, then if you get a pullback, then that pullback will be strong as well, because people who push the stock price to from 150 all the way to 174, they don't want to hold their position too long. They might take profit, and if that profit taking happen, then we come back down. And this resistance line that I drew over here, this goes back all the way back to COVID time, or the March 20th. So it has quite a data points that gives you this trend line. And if we get a pullback, I think we will retest this trend line once more. If we broke through that, then 158 level will be the next target, and below that 150 could be our next price to watch for. On the upside, we have resistance at 176, and on top of that straight 182. Maybe we get some resistance at whole number like 180. Other than that, it had a straight move. Moving on to Amazon, similar to Apple, we had a strong rally, but on Friday what I noticed is that there was less volume on Thursday as well. So it seems like bulls are exhausted pushing the stock price from its bottom, that is almost like 2800 to 3200, and almost at the top it broke through that 3300 level. So if we consider this fib extension, then we might get a pullback towards 3100. Moving on to Facebook is still in this cup formation. I'm quite interested to see where exactly it is heading towards, because we had this huge bull rally and that was almost vertical. If it is going to form this cup formation, then we might get rejection when it reached to this gap fill almost at 250 245 level, and we get rejection from there. That's why I drew this resistance line at 243, because that's where it almost complete this cup formation, and when cup formation complete, it start coming down to complete that handle formation, and it might come back to its level like 220 level. Next one is Nvidia. I like Nvidia because Nvidia show a bullish strength, so this is not that much concerning considering we had this pullback on 2 days and before breaking that level and making another high. I think Nvidia can go up again to 300 or 310. On the downside, 230 210 are the next support levels that we need to watch for. Right now we are at 276, so next zone will be 285, then 290, and then 300. Next one is Tesla. Tesla had the same almost 90-degree parabolic move similar to Apple and Amazon, so that's why I drew this fib extension, and we might get a pullback on Tesla coming back down towards 950. So keep these prices in check, like 950, 934. If we broke 934 level, we will come back down towards 900. On the upside, we can watch for 1100 and 1200 level. In between that, we might see a push towards 1050 because we already had one rejection from that level, 1050 1040 level. Moving on to AMD is very interesting compared to Nvidia because Nvidia already had its move, and there are few lagging tickers in the semiconductor market like MU and AMD. AMD is still strong. I mean, it had a strong push on Thursday, not quite so on Friday because of the low volume, but I am very interested to see if it can break this trend line. For the price to watch for on the downside, we have 113 110 level, and on the upside we need to watch for 120 125 and then 130 level. Next one is Shop. We had a strong downtrend, sudden break. If we connect this point and draw a trend line, then we are at the resistance, and now at this point there are two options. Either we come back down towards 600 or break through and get that confirmation that we are in a trend reversal. So we need to watch for the levels like 700 and 750 770. Above that, we have a small gap fill as well from 800 to almost 850. If we get a clean breakthrough, we might fill this gap as well. Next one is PANW, and PANW has this megaphone formation, and we were trending on its upper resistance quite a while before breaking down and retesting that level again, and then we bounced back from that level and we are heading towards all-time high. I think like we might see a strong push towards 650 level, and from that level then we get some kind of like rejection coming back down towards 600. So keep these two levels in check. On the upside 640 650, downside 590. The next one is Home Depot, and we saw quite a pullback from its recent high. If we consider this trend line, then we are retesting that trend line resistance. If we hold that level, we might see a bounce back from that, because we had a previous bounce back from this 300 level 1-2 times. That's not like a strong level to hold for Home Depot. It might break through that level and come back down towards 280 as a reference point. It just need to keep an eye on this 300, but on the downside we have this 300 line to hold. On the upside we have 340 as a resistance. Beyond that we have this small gap to fill between 340 350. Next one is Adobe. Adobe is still bearish at this point. I think like we will retest this 418 level once again, 418 415, before getting a bounce back. And this time if we get a bounce back, we might break through that resistance level, which is at 430, and head towards 450 level. But at this point we can watch for the 418 415 level on the downside, and 450 and 455 on the upside. Next one is coin. Coin is still bullish, and if we get a push in Bitcoin, we might see another push back towards 200 level, but we have to consider this resistance line because we got rejection from that level multiple times, almost like 4 times. So if that happens, we might get a rejection somewhere around 190 level. If we broke through that level, if we broke through this resistance, then 200, 212, 225 are the prices we need to watch for. On the downside, we have huge support at 161 level. But everything depends on 2 factors: Bitcoin price and market conditions. Next one is Google. Google made a huge move. It's still in this channel or this triangle formation, and we need to break through this resistance. We had that breakthrough once on their earning and announcement of the stock split, but we came back down pretty quickly. If we get a pullback with this sweep extension, we might retest this 2716 level. On the upside, 2815, because this price action is quite a choppy, so you cannot draw like a particular support or the line through it. But we are at that point right now. With the current price, we might get breakthrough or the resistance because we got a rejection from that level. Next one is MongoDB. MongoDB has a bearish trend. It got this nice bull run pullback on Friday, and I think with the current price you can easily see a touchdown towards 400 level, or below, even below that, like 390, 395, 390 level. If we broke that level, then the next level to watch for is 334, and beyond that we have the small gap to fill between 315 and 300. On the upside, 450 level is the next level to watch for. The next one is Snow. The overall trend is bullish. I still believe like it has enough steam left to push through this gap fill that is between 225 to 250. We got rejection from that level and we pulled back from this gap fill towards 219. If we get another pullback, we might retest 200 level. Otherwise, if market is strong and if we get another bull run, we might see this gap fill. And that's it for this video. We reach at the end of our watch list. I hope you like this video. It takes so much time to go through all the stocks and find the stocks that has a good setup. So if you appreciate this video and if you reach to this far, just considering the like and subscribe. And I'm going to post this watch list on my Patreon. If you want to join my Patreon, you can join. It's just for $1. That being said, thank you for watching this video and see you again in next video. Bye.